Hello, I have been expecting you, Mr. Bond. Hello, and welcome back to the design lessons. So, hopefully, you've kind of finished criterion A now. Hopefully, you've got out of bed. Hopefully, you're not still in your pajamas because we've got lots of work to do. Hope you're ready for it. So, what we're going to do today is take a look at criterion B, and that's going to be lesson 5 in the list that you've been given on Magister. So let's just take a look at what we got to do for the next week. And as I said, we're going to be doing criterion B, and that involves taking a look at the design cycle, and we're going to move on. We've completed inquiring and analysing, and we're going to move on to do developing ideas. And so what does that entail? There's a few things that we're going to do, and some of them you might remember from previous projects, and that is creating specifications. The other thing we're going to be doing is presenting ideas, and we're going to be planning to make our product, or planning to make the website, I guess it is. So if you remember from the last lesson, what we looked at in the whole of criterion A was, why is it useful to make a website? We looked at bad websites, good websites, and why you're making the website, why are you going to look at that, or why are you going to make a website for your target audience, and what do you want to achieve. Is it going to be a website to get people enthusiastic, or are you going to get a website to inform people? That type of information. We're going to move on now to the task list. Now, if you look at Magister, what we've got is not only these PowerPoints that you can look at them, we've also put a task list. So you've got a list of stuff that you know what to do. So if you couldn't really remember what we said in the lesson, go to Magister, download this list, and you've got a sort of checklist that you can look at every time. Now, one thing that both Mr. von Rijn and myself would like to do is to monitor your progress. So by now, you should have completed criterion A. Now, if you look at criterion A, that you should be keeping a online document that you'll be working in your group with. Now, if you have not done this already, what we'd like you to do is to make your document, and you should have had that in OneDrive. We only want it in OneDrive, not Google Docs, because you can't share that with your teacher. What we'd like you to do is to open up your document. Now, before you do anything, before you share it, and hopefully it's going to be a bit slow, we'd like you to give the name. So if you look at the name, you've got Y1. Now, depending on your which class you're in, it's going to be Y1A, Y1B, Y1C, Y1D, that type of thing. And let's have a look. I'm just logging into that, Y1A, and then it's going to be underscore the name of the project. So this is brain drain. Don't put any spaces in there. And then underscore, and then you want to put the name of the people in your group, just the first name. So and that type of thing. Now, if you are in a class where there's more than one person with the same name, just make sure that you put the first letter of your last name or more, as long as you make it clear. So make sure you do that, share that. Let's have a look. So you've got the button here on the right-hand side, share. Now, this is also super important to make sure that your teacher can give you feedback. Is before you share it, just click on this here and then put the tick here to allow editing. Now, if you do that, your teacher can give you feedback, and then all you have to do is just punch in the name of your teacher here. It should find it straight away. Click on that, and you can then click the send button, and you should be okay. Okay, so once you've done that, we can go on and crack on with the rest of the lesson. And what we're going to be doing is creating specifications. So that's what we're going to be doing during the lesson today. We're going to be doing specifications. Now, if you remember from the last lesson, or from the last project, we also made a list of specifications. Now, every single product, before it gets designed, has a list of specifications. Now, even when you've made the product, you can still get that. So if you look at your phone or a fridge or a car, computer game, and look at the box, then you'll see a list of specifications, or go to the website. So what I'd like you to do is go to go to the internet and look at, for example, an iPhone or a car or a computer game, and look up the specification list, and just to see that each product does have a specification list. Now, once you've found that, find the list of specifications and just put an example in your design folder. Okay, now what is a specification? What specification are you going to be making for your website? Now, if you can remember, every specification should have a number of things in it. It should describe the function of your product. So what does your product do? Also, you should give a measurement of the function and explain how to test it. And this should be based on research. So for an example, for a website, you can see the example I've given you here is the website will be about making a rainbow cake. Say you're making a recipe website, which will contain different recipes, and this can be checked that says, it's not very good, you can see that contains 5 different recipes, and this can be checked by counting the recipes in the website. So this is an example of a specification where you've said what it needs to do. That is, the website needs to be about making a rainbow cake. You have to do a measurement, that is 5 recipes. And how to test it? Well, it's super easy to test something about numbers. You can just count them. So what we're going to ask you to do is come up with a bunch of specifications for your website, and also to add some kind of priority to them. So using the information you gathered for question 2, make a list of all the things you need to include in your website. So you can see here I've got a few examples. One specification is it must contain the colors dark blue and grey on each web page to show the colors of the local hockey club, for example. Another specification could be have a section where you can see the date and time on every page, as the client wants to have this. So not only am I saying what needs to go on the website, but I'm also saying why it has to. That's super important. Now, what we've also given you, if you look at the document on Magister, is a number of constraints, and those are things that it must be. So, for example, we want you to make your website in English. You have to make a website without templates, so you can't just go to a website maker and say, make a beautiful website, and it comes with all the colors and the pictures. You must have more than 5 pages. You also have to have one self-made video that you put on it, etc., etc. So you can look at these specifications and constraints on Magister. Now, just to remind us what makes a good specification, you have to have the requirement on there, and it needs to be measurable. You need to say how we can see whether you did a good job or not. So, just to summarize what we learned today, what is a specification? I need to change that spelling mistake. What's a specification? What is the constraint? And what makes a good specification? So, that was it for today. If you do have any questions, don't forget that you can get a hold of both Mr. von Rijn and myself via Magister. Don't forget, we've also got lots of lessons here, so like and subscribe. Don't forget, leave some comments if you want to. And that was it for today. Hopefully everybody's okay and is still safe. Hopefully you didn't get ill, and we'll see you next lesson.